All right, so this is the real world application. So kind of think of 4.1 part 2, okay? Um, so these are just going to talk about like the different reasons why we do it and graphically why am I going to choose to show it versus like why would I just want to solve it and come up with it. So kind of think of yourself in front of a group of people and you were trying to convince them or why you were trying to deter people from going with one company uh, or to go with another company. So you were checking out cell phone plans, discovered that Talk Anytime Wireless charges $50 per month for the first phone line and charges $20 per additional phone line. Text Away Wireless charges $80 per month for the first phone line and $5 per additional phone line. Determine the number of additional phones listed X for which it would be cheaper to use Talk Anytime versus Talk Away. So basically just view yourself as like you were the head of a family and you were trying to determine which, data company should you go with, Verizon or AT&T, because different companies are going to charge you a different amount for adding the phone lines and whatnot. So let's talk about Talk Anytime. So that's going to be red. So Talk Anytime. Okay, this says $50 per month for the first phone. First phone. So I'm just writing down my important information. And then it's $20 per additional. So I'm going to go ahead and write the equation here. It's going to be y equals, so the cost for this cell phone plan is going to be $50 is my base charge because I have to have one phone with them. And then it's going to be $20 times my additional phones, which is X. All right. So up here, this is going to be my cost axis. So let's go ahead and write that in. So cost, okay, in dollars, that's going to be my Y. And then let's go ahead and do my x-axis. This is going to be phone lines, okay, or additional phone lines. All right, so let's go ahead and draw in our axes. So again, this is kind of one of those things that we're only talking about the first quadrant because you can't have negative phone lines and you can't have like a negative cost. So here we go. Let's find out how many blocks we're dealing with. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So I have 30 blocks on my x-axis. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And 22 on my y-axis. Now, why am I going over this? Because I need to figure out what to count by. So going up my y-axis, now I need to be at somewhere above 50. So let's see. Let's count by tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 200. So I just put those in. Now, for my additional phone lines, well, additional phone lines, I probably don't need 30 additional phone lines. So let's count like maybe every 2 blocks here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, so let's continue to graph here. So let's go to 50. We're going to put a point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. That's my starting point. Now, all right, because that's corresponding to that. Now we need to go up 20 and to the right 1. So up 20, 1, 2, to the right 1. That's going to be right there. Up 20, 1, 2, to the right 1. Up 20 to the right 2. Okay. It's going to seem kind of weird, but it makes sense with our graph and our dimensions that we chose. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these dots. So this is my talk anytime. Now my text away. So text away charges, okay? And I think we got the point of this. I'm going to write it all out. So it charges $80 for the first phone, and it charges $5 per additional phone. So y equals 5x plus, and we're going to go ahead and put in plus the 80. So we're going to go up to 80. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now up 5. How do I do up 5 when I'm counting by tens? I can't. So what I kind of think of is this. If I want to go up 5 and to the right 1, so I would go up 5 and go halfway to the right 1. It'd be like here. Up 5 to the right 1, right there. Up 5 to the right 1. Okay, so I'm just estimating. I don't need to go too far because I can see that my two graphs intersect right here at that point. Now, what point is that? Well, that's the point 2 and 90. And I can check that. I could plug 2 into this. So 20 times 2 is 40 plus 50, that's 90. 5 times 2, that's 10 plus 80 is 90. Now this is called the break-even point. And this is the point where my two graphs cross, they intersect, they break even. All right, talk anytime is equal to my text away. And that means that now I can determine that the number of additional phone lines would have been 2 additional lines. Okay? 2 additional lines is all it would take for them to be equal. And you can see graphically that it's only cheaper if you have 0, 1, or, you know, it's the same if you have 2. So 0, 1 phone, okay, talk anytime for the additional phone lines. And then anything more than that, it's going to be better to go with the text away. So using the method of substitution to solve this system, okay, so it's telling me it wants to use substitution. Notice I don't have a graph like I did in the first one. I could use substitution in the first one. So it says you were choosing between two movie rental services. Think like Redbox and let's say YouTube, okay? Because YouTube you can rent movies from like nowadays, where you could choose like Verizon, whatever you want. So it says for the first one, company A. So I'm just going to write company A. Company A says charges $2.99 per movie, so Y equals $2.99 per movie. We're going to call that X plus a $20 monthly fee. Company B charges simply $4.99 a movie with no monthly fee. So it says, how many movies could you rent and get charged the same monthly bill? And then it goes on ahead and asks me, which one would be better for 8 movies per month? Now, you could answer that pretty quick, okay, by just plugging in 8, but let's go ahead and do it this way. Now, company A is equal to Y, and company B is equal to Y, and Y is representing the total cost. So I can actually just say 299x plus 20 equals 499x. I can also do substitution this way. I'm substituting in what Y is equal to. Here's I didn't have to solve anything. It's nice and simple. Go ahead and subtract 299x from both sides. You can see you got 20 equals 2x. Divide by 2, you get x equals 10. So that means you can rent up to 10 movies before company B becomes more expensive. Okay? They break even at 10. Now, how do I know company B is going to become more expensive at that point, not company A? Well, company A has a smaller slope. That means it's going to be increasing at a slower rate. So at this point, company B is just going to take off. Now it says, if you rent on average 8 movies per month, which one would it be? Well, that's easy. Yeah. Company A is less than company B at that point, because we're less than 10 movies. Now notice number 4. Oops. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Now it's talking about the break-even point, which I talked about earlier. And it says the total revenue R equals the total cost C. This is very important in business. It's going to be talking about at what point or how many of an item do I have to sell in order to recoup my costs for making those items, because I have to front money. All right, so this is very important. So small business invests $14,000 to produce a new energy bar. Kind of think of, let's go with those RX bars now. They're pretty good. Each of those RX bars costs 80 cents to produce, and they sell them for $1.50. Wish they sold them for $1.50. They're more like $2. Okay, how many bars must be sold before the business breaks even? All right, so on one side we have our cost. And we want to know, when is that equal to our revenue? So we're looking for this. Now my cost is, well, it cost me $14,000 to start up, and then it cost me 80 cents a bar to make. So I'm just going to use B for bar. Okay? Now I want to know when that equals, well, it makes me, well, I make on each bar that I sell, it's $1.50 because that's what I make back, okay, B. So I do $1.50 B. And here we go. Let's go ahead and subtract that 80 cents, that 80 B from both sides. And this breaks down to, those of you in business could have told me that, oh, well, that's easy. I just need to do 14,000 equals, okay, 0.7 B, because, I'm making 70 cents profit. Divide by that 0.7. All right, so this is where you need a calculator. We're going to get 20,000. So 20,000 bars is what I have to sell. That's not terribly large for these health bars. You could sell that pretty quickly, so it's not a bad gig. All right. So you were starting a small business selling boxes of hand-painted greeting cards. Now it's the holiday time, so this makes sense. To get started, you spend $36 on paint and paintbrushes that you need. You also buy boxes of playing cards, which cost $3.50 per box. After painting the cards and replacing them back in the box, you sell them for $5 per box. How many boxes do you need? Well, the cost. All right, the cost part is this. You spend $36 on the paint and paintbrushes, and then you buy the boxes of playing cards for $3.50. So I'm going to use B again for boxes. Okay, so 36 plus 350B, that is my cost equation. Now my revenue, okay, that's going to be equal to, well, I sell the boxes for $5 each. So let's go ahead and solve for B here. So I have $36 equals 350B. Divide by $1.50. And I get B equals, let's see if I can do that into my head. 24, I believe it's 24 boxes, okay? B for boxes. Pretty straightforward, but very significant. Last but not least, and then you guys can finish up working on your web assignment. A small business invests $8,000 in equipment to produce a new candy bar. Yummy. Each bar costs $1.22 to produce and is sold for $2. So cost, $8,000 plus $1.20. All right, and it says candy bar. Let's just use B again for bar. That's going to equal my revenue. Well, I sell each candy bar for $2. So let's use green now. If I subtract $1.20 or 1.2B from both sides, I get 8,000 equals 0.80B. Divide by 0.80. And that is going to be, I don't know, I'm going to say 10,000, but I'm not using the calculator. Let's see. Let's check on that calculator. So 8,000 divided by 0.8. Huh, look at that, 10,000 bars. So you can see the significance of the substitution method. Notice graphing does work out at times, but substitution, we get more exact answers. All right, let me know if you have questions on the web assignment.